Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha pastimes because very soon, everyone knows, Krishna's appearance day is happening. When is that? August 16th. Okay, great. This chapter and what I'm about to try to read for you is exploring the idea of having unlimited bliss. Would anyone like to have unlimited bliss? Everyone would like to have unlimited bliss. In other words, you are happy 24/7, so to speak, because nobody really wants to be unhappy. So it's very important. How do you get unlimited bliss? What is that like? We're going to try to explore this topic. Actually, the only way to have it is to have Krishna. The only way to have Krishna is to get the mercy of Mati Radharani. And the only way to get to Srimati Radharani is through the mercy of Lord Balaram. Nityananda Balarama Ki. So, before we begin anything, I'm going to simply try to invoke the mercy of Lord Nityananda Balaram. Let's see if I can get here. There's a chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everybody's familiar with this book? I don't want to just say names and say, what is he talking about? Who's read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who, at least one or two pages from it? It's a major book. There's 18 volumes. Srila Prabhupada translated that from the classical Bengali to English. He did it even before he completed Srimad Bhagavatam. It's an extremely important book. So you'll probably hear me repeat many times, you gotta read the books. Gotta read the books, because we don't have class 7 days a week. At least most of us can't make it. There is a class every morning on the Bhagavatam, but let's face it, most people can't make it. So it's up to you and me. We got to read these books. We can have our own Bhagavatam class. Anyway, in light of that, and what I just said, we need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. This is the first verse from this chapter, the glorification of Lord Nityananda Ram, composed by Krishnadas Kaviraj. That's who wrote this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vandenanda Bhutais Varyam Sri Nityanandam Ishwaram Yasyechchaya Tatswarupam Agyenapi Nirudyate. Let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. So I've just been identified in this verse. Even a fool. You're meeting fool number one. Even a fool can understand his identity. He just said he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we might be able to come back to this later, but we have to begin this discussion with some auspicious prayers, which is always done. It's not anything new, but we can't just skim over this. So practically every class you'll hear it begin this way. You can read along with me. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Drakti Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within the material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yata Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Sarjubam Sadvaitam Sadvaihutam Pariyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Scha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and into the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his older brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatt and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and to Lord Nityananda, along with Advaitacharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishak. Hey Krishna Karana Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Oh my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. This is my prayer to all of you, and your prayer to me. This is what Vaishnavas must do. Show respect to all Vaishnavas. What to speak, I don't even have to say to Guru, to Krishna, to senior godbrothers, but to everyone. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now we're going to pay a little bit of respect to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is not different than Krishna. We can't respect it enough, and we have to understand why we're doing this. Krishna made such an effort to get us this Srimad Bhagavatam. Very few in this Kali Yuga, especially in the Western Hemisphere, there's no experts in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit with devotion. It's one thing to be reading some Sanskrit. It's another thing to actually understand it through the eyes, ears, and heart of the Acharya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Each one of these verses would require a whole class just to start to understand them. But we can tell from the translation the depth of what is behind this. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janatyaso Varakyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Dharma svanustita pumsam vikshvaksena katasuya naparayad yadi ratim shrana eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. We could definitely spend a class understanding the depth of this particular verse. Everything has to be done for Krishna's service to get Krishna's mercy. Your job, your home, your husband, wife, children, all of that, somehow or other, you have to dovetail it. Otherwise, what? Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's just so much useless endeavor. Let us continue. A couple more. Nastra prayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatam shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance and classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. In the initial translations, when devotees were first translating these verses to get it ready for the book, Srila Prabhupada used to go through it and make approvals. And at first it read by attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam. He said, no, by regular attendance. There's a difference. By attendance means maybe once a year you can make it hear something. Regular attendance. Tada rajastamo bhava kamalo badayas chaye cheta etar anavidham sritam satve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy. So if you read that carefully, you already understand what to do, what the theme of this class is about. How are we going to be permanently, uninterruptedly happy? How are you going to do that? We just read all this from this one or two shlokas. We can see you have to be engaged in Krishna's service. You have to associate with Krishna's devotees. And you have to dedicate everything somehow or other to Krishna's service. That means you have to do some homework, because everything that we are sometimes engaged in cannot be dovetailed in Krishna's service. You can't go down to John Brown's liquor store and buy a bottle of whiskey and think you can offer this to Krishna. That goes without saying. So there are some things we can't dovetail. So it's up to us to begin to inquire and research, what can we dovetail? How many people here have to work, have an employment outside of the younger children? Of course, most everybody has to do something. So right away, there's a way that you can dovetail, simply by giving Krishna a couple of dollars. Because I don't mean it that sarcastically. Give Krishna whatever amount you can give. But if it's only a couple dollars, and you sincerely give from the heart, that's bhakti yoga. That's dovetailing. So we have to do the research to find out how to be eternally happy. Now we're going to go to the day's verse. We're in the 10th canto. This is titled The Prayers of the Personified Vedas. So the Vedas are not simply just some books, some old leather scrolls or whatever. Behind the Vedas are the personification of each Veda. And of course behind them is Krishna. So let's not get too far ahead. This verse is in prose. I will try to read it. Iti tava surayastray adipate kilalokamala Shnapana katam ritadhim avagaya tapapshni jahu kim utapuna swadhama vidushaya kalaguna parama bhajanti ye badam ajashra sukhanubhavam. Going to the translation. Therefore, O Master of the three worlds, the wise get rid of all misery by diving deep into the nectarian ocean of topics about you, which washes away all the contamination of the universe. Then what to speak of those who having by spiritual strength rid their minds of bad habits and freed themselves from time, are able to worship you, your true nature, O Supreme One, finding within it uninterrupted bliss. So we're actually reading a question. I'm going to read this again because of its importance. Therefore, O Master of the three worlds, the wise get rid of all misery by diving deep into the nectarian oceans of topics about you. This is important for all of us. Because our topic, our opening, I was asking, who wants to be permanently happy? How can you be permanently happy? The wise get rid of all misery by diving deep into the nectarian ocean of topics about you. What a statement. If you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you can't claim to be miserable. If you're studying Srimad Bhagavatam, you're wiping out all misery. If you're reading it and you say, Prabhu, but I still feel, no, you're not reading it. I still feel a little anxiety. I just don't get it. Then you're not reading it. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's so important. Just like when you pronounce the word Hare Krishna. There's 4 syllables there. Hare Krishna. 4 syllables. Those 4 syllables can liberate you from this material world. But how many of us pay strict attention to Hare and Krishna? As a matter of fact, just Krishna. Everything is finished. Why aren't we getting it? Let me speak for myself. I know you Prabhus do get it. I'm not criticizing you. Why don't some people get it? Krishna. What does it mean? Krish means, one meaning of Krish is to check, it's to stop. The suffix of that word, na, when you get into Sanskrit, na means, in this reference, the repetition of birth and death. So Krishna is one who can stop the repetition of birth and death. Just in those two syllables. But why aren't we not getting it? I was just reading another book. His Holiness Sachinanda Swami has written a very nice book on the Brahma Gayatri. It's stressing the importance of hearing. One other very nice, just a couple paragraphs I read by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta explaining what we're talking about. What are we talking about? Krishna. He was explaining Vishnu. If you say Vishnu, it's finished. All your material anxieties, everything is finished. There's so much in that syllable. But why don't we get it? Because we go to the dictionary and we look up Vishnu and we get some dictionary meaning. That's not Vishnu. If we just hear Vishnu somewhere, that's not necessarily Vishnu. But if we sincerely chant the name Vishnu from the heart, this is it, you get the realization. I can't give it. You have to take it. So the importance of hearing, I can never stress enough. Hare Krishna. 4 syllables. Krishna. We think we know, but we don't know. So, back to this subject matter, the nectarian topics about Krishna is going to wipe out all your misery. It's like an open secret. From this moment on, nobody, including myself, can actually go back and claim I'm suffering. We're going to suffer, but we can't claim we're suffering or that we're depressed or whatever. Because if you understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you try to understand, this is just not even a drop, what I've said about Krishna. I can't explain Krishna. I would never attempt to try. Just repeating the words of the Acharyas. Because you cannot capture Krishna. Sheshana, Lord Balaram again, has been glorifying Krishna since time immemorial. Meaning literally forever. There's no stop. There's no beginning. He cannot reach the end. He cannot draw a conclusion. I've said enough about Krishna. So I am going to say, I know Krishna? No. We can't go on that level. But again, we have to focus. Focusing on these nectarian topics about you, what do they do? Washes away all the contamination of the universe. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not like you just limit it here to planet Earth. Anywhere you go in this universe, if you're fortunate enough to find Srimad Bhagavatam, it'll have the same effect. The universe is not just planet Earth and a few other planets circling around, and we were lucky that, the sun fell on us in this manner. Give me a break. I'm not going to go into a Darwinian rant at this point about evolution and understanding the physics of it. Suffice it to say that what Srimad Bhagavatam says, and here Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, topics about Krishna are very important. What to speak of those who are having, by spiritual strength, rid their minds of bad habits and freed themselves from time, are able to worship your true nature. O Supreme One, finding within it uninterrupted bliss. Purport. According to Srila Jiva Goswami in the previous verse, those Shrutis whose presentation of the Supreme Truth may seem impersonal clarified their true purpose. Now in the present verse, those who focus exclusively on the Divine Personality of Godhead, who speak of His transcendental pastimes, take their turn in praising Him. So we're going to hear from other Shrutis. We might not get to the next verse in this class, but all of you have Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't, I'm suggesting get Srimad Bhagavatam. The reference to this impersonal idea that God is just the totality of energy. How many have heard this? God is just energy, just a spirit. Nobody's heard this? You've heard it. God is just, He's everything. He's everywhere. Is that God? Don't be afraid. Yes, that is God. But what's unique about the Vedas? Why am I reading Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto? Especially from the personified Vedas. The key is right there. Personified means made at personal, an entity that you can reference. So God, if we just go by the general name and we say we love Him, what's He like? What do you have for breakfast? Oh, He's just energy. Doesn't eat any breakfast. Huh? Who would agree that God doesn't eat breakfast? Doesn't need any food? We got one soul that is volunteering to say, yes, God doesn't need any breakfast. You're right and you're wrong. God doesn't need anything. He's self-sufficient. But on the other hand, God needs breakfast. How is He going to get breakfast? From you and me. He's made this arrangement so that if you give Him breakfast or anything else, for that matter, He will reciprocate. Can you feed the big void? Just throw some food out into a pit, the void. Who would enjoy doing that? Let's take another analogy. Let's say I have a wife, and you ask me, are you married? Yes, I have a wife. What's her name? Her name is, well, she's just wife, just my wife. But what does she do? What do you mean? What does a wife do? I don't know what she does. Well, what does she, can you describe her? What does she look like? I don't really look at her. She's just my wife. And you begin to see this guy is a little touched. Your wife, well, all right, what's her favorite color? Well, she doesn't like color. She doesn't, I don't know. What time does she go to bed at night? What do you mean? She's my wife. Now, apply this to God. I love God. You do? Well, what does He look like? I don't know. He doesn't look like anything. What's His favorite color? Does He play any instruments? Does He like music? God is a personality. The problem is we think when we say personality, it's like me. Like, I have so many flaws. So if you pick me as a person to go by, you're going to find flaw after flaw after flaw. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no flaws. The very fact that we are tiny little insignificant persons, that's what we are, is because Krishna is the Supreme Person. Krishna is known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakchirananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Saravakarana Karanam. Text at the beginning of Brahma Samhita. Another book I highly recommend. You don't have to raise your hand, but how many people have read the Brahma Samhita? It's only about 90 pages. You got to read this book. Why? We just told you why. You said you wanted it. You wanted always permanent happiness. You wanted bliss. I'm telling you what the Shastra says, what the Guru says on how to get this bliss. Very simple. So God is the supreme person. He's not a person like a material person in this world, on this planet. I hope this point is becoming more clear. The young man in the back, does this help you further understand what I'm saying when God needs to eat breakfast? If you don't understand, I can repeat some things. God is the supreme person. We are limited, tiny, insignificant persons, people. But we are the same energy of God. We are from God. We're temporarily covered in material body. That is our problem. That's why we're not happy. We're covered in a temporary material body. And we're thinking, oh, I'm Goparaj. I'm so handsome. I'm so strong. You know, I can pick up this building. I can't do anything. Mosquito can give me malaria that will wipe me out in a couple of days. The body we think is so wonderful and beautiful. You come here 50 years from now, you look through the dust particles. Where is that body? Every body here, as the Shastra explains, your destination is either going to be earth, the worms are going to get you. If you're lucky, you're cremated, fire, you become ash. That's what happens to the material body. You bury it or burn it, and then it just slowly finishes deteriorating. What happened? Srila Prabhupada was saying on a morning walk that this person is saying, my uncle, let's say Uncle Joe, he's gone. And Srila Prabhupada pointed out, but no, we're standing right in front of Uncle Joe. How is he gone? Well, he's dead. He's gone. So there's some confusion there. Most people don't understand that point. You have the body, which eventually will not function. Just like this laptop. Eventually, it's not going to work. You throw it out and get another laptop. What happens with the body? Eventually, it's not going to function. But the operator, the jiva, the soul within the body, goes somewhere else. Where that soul goes depends on that soul. Depends on you and me, where the soul is going. Continuing. Because all the Vedas declare the supremacy of the personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam, that's Krishna. Discriminating persons should take to his worship by diving into the ocean of his glories. Intelligent devotees help dispel the distress of all souls and loosen their own burning attachment to materialistic life. These advancing devotees gradually give up all material attachment and lose any interest they once had in the troublesome austerities of karma, jnana, and yoga. So a lot to be said there, but in a nutshell, if we want to become happy all the time, then we have to give up the idea of karma. What is karma? Doing good things, trying to follow the scripture, the Shastra, or just being a good person. Because every day you have to do things So a person thinks, I won't harm anybody. I won't even eat any meat. You know, I'll just become a vegetarian. I won't curse. I won't swear. This will not, you still have to leave that body. If you didn't say one swear word in your life, if you didn't eat one piece of flesh in your life, you still have to take birth again. That's the problem with karma. Jnana, basically understood as knowledge. Knowledge alone will not liberate you. Knowledge alone cannot liberate you. The only really liberating thing, in other words, where you don't have to take birth again, because you can be a great scholar, you can understand even Shastra, you can speak the language of Sanskrit, and still have to take birth again. The only way to avoid that, or any birth again, is to use this particular method known as Bhakti Yoga. Not just yoga. Yoga means to connect, to link up. Who are you going to link to? Again, it eliminates the idea of an impersonality. I'm just going to link to the universe. A lot of people pray like that. Oh, universe, hear me. Please give me this, give me that. Please let this happen. Oh, universe. The only thing we're doing here is like admitting we don't know. Who is the universe? Well, it's an energy. It's a type of energy. Yeah? What is it? Can you show it to me? Can anyone in here show energy? No, I'm answering for you. You can't. You can't even show me electricity. Electricity is running through this building, operating these things, operating this microphone, this laptop. Yet we don't see electricity. If you cut this wire, we'll see some copper and other things inside, but then you won't see electricity. So we don't want that kind of relationship, linking up to something impersonal. We want the personality of Godhead. This is why we open with praying for the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who again will be appearing for our sake when? Who's with me? When is he going to appear? Uh-oh, somebody feels a trick question. Well, he's already here, Prabhu. Yes. But he's going to appear again when?
Friday.
Friday. Don't be afraid to answer. Friday is the appearance day celebration of Lord Nityananda. We always say appearance day because, as was mentioned yesterday, the Lord doesn't take birth like we. We take birth forced. Everybody here has parents, mother and father. And you were forced to come into this situation. Now, Prabhu, I chose my country, I chose my parents, I chose, my color, I chose my gender. All of this, I can choose. You can't choose anything like that. The only thing you can do in choice is surrender to Krishna or try to oppose Krishna. It's the only thing you can do. Now you say, yeah, I can do so many. You can't. What if you get ill? I can make myself well. Good luck. You can't do anything. The body operates, and we get so accustomed to it operating that we throw down some cereal and a drink, and then we go have lunch, and we put the right fuel in, and I'm running good. I got everything. No, it's a limited situation. You have to get rid of all of that. That's what Shukadev Goswami is alluding to. You have to get rid of attachment to all that. In Bhagavad Gita, if I can remember, Indriyarteshu vairagya anahankara evacha. Who knows this slok? Indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jaravyadi dukkha doshana darshanam. We have to get rid of the false ego. Indriyarteshu vairagya. This false ego. Indriya, the senses. The senses mean 5 things: sight, taste, touch, hearing, and smell. All animals, including humans, have those 5 sensibilities. But Srila Prabhupada says in that translation, he says, we have to give up attachment to that. And then we have to understand what Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi is. And he says we have to understand, his words is we have to perceive the evil of birth, death, old age, disease. All of them bring about miseries. If we do not perceive the evil, then the problem is we're not going to be happy. And what's our theme? We want to be happy all the time. We're learning how to be happy. Because these devotees are the Shrutis, connoisseurs of spiritual truth, who honor the nectarian ocean of the Supreme Lord's glories by immersing themselves fully within it. These mature devotees of the Supreme Lord achieve unimaginable perfection. The Lord, reciprocating their sincere endeavors, empowers them to realize Him in His personal form. So you may know nothing about Krishna. If you come to a Krishna temple, you may see, they have some statues. They have some marble statues, some bronze statues. So you're allowed to do that when you come. Krishna is not going to chastise you. Just by using your eyesight to see the deity, which you have no concept of what the deity is, you're purified. But these mature devotees here, alluding to the Shrutis, the personified Vedas, they glorify Krishna every chance they get because He's a person. And He has so many wonderful activities. We could go on ad infinitum trying to talk about those activities. I'm going to just read a little bit from another book, the Gopal Champu, describing Krishna's nectarian pastimes. Anybody familiar with Gopal Champu? What is it? It's a book. Gopal Champu. I can't describe it. You're going to have to find out on your own. Let me attempt. Gopal Champu was written by Srila Jiva Goswami. And I'm trying to just quickly summarize. If you read Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, also known as the Krishna book, is the 10th canto, Srila Prabhupada translated. You find all the major pastimes of Krishna when He was in Vrindavan, when He was physically there in Vrindavan. So those pastimes are again narrated in this Gopal Champu, but in a very unique way. You've heard the pastime when Krishna was a baby and Mother Yashoda tied him to a grinding mortar. And Krishna crawled pulling this heavy grinding mortar, and he went right between 2 Amal Arjuna trees, huge trees. But he crawled right between them. But because He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He didn't get stuck. The grinding mortar simply kept going and knocked over these 2 humongous trees. Amazing. A baby what we think is a baby, impossible to do such a thing. But Krishna, when he was a baby, he did this. So he pulls over these two Arjun trees, and out come two personalities, very effulgent. This is a long pastime. These two young men had been cursed by Narada Muni because they had shown some very disrespectful habits. He cursed them to become trees. They were actually cohorting with young, unclothed females, bathing and swimming and taking intoxication. He cursed them to take birth as trees. And because they pleaded for his mercy, Narada Muni's mercy, said, okay, you'll still be trees until Krishna manifests in Vrindavan. So that's how Krishna decided to take down. When he liberated these two trees, we find the individuals, Nalakuvar and Manigriva. Nalakuvar and Manigriva, now, for the sake of getting through this quickly, they've taken birth again, and they're two young effulgent boys. They get invited to the morning courthouse of Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda soon discovers that they can recite the most elegant poetry and pastimes, and they begin to describe the things Krishna has already done. In a nutshell, that's what happens in this Gopal Champu. So every morning they're invited, and the whole village gathers, and they hear from these two new personalities known as who can bring out the names real quick? And it just got out of my head. Nalakuvar and Manigriva become Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta. Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. They are the two reciters of all of Krishna's pastimes. And the entire assembly can't wait every day to get and hear them tell of things that Krishna has just done. Everybody is mesmerized and amazed. And then sometimes in the evening, they also speak privately to Radha and Krishna. So to hear these pastimes, they're open for everyone now in this Gopal Champu. We're running out of time, so I'm going to have to just read this prayer. Respects to Radha Raman, respects to Krishna Chaitanya. O Krishna, O Chaitanya, O Rupa and Sanatan, O Gopal, O Raghunath, O Vallabha, who has attained Raja, please protect me. So we pray for the Lord's mercy. Of course, Jiva Goswami goes on to explain each one of these names and what they mean. Unfortunately, you'll have to tune in next week, so to speak, or get a copy of the Gopal Champu. I'll have to stop at this point. Any immediate questions? We see the benefit of just reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing from Srila Prabhupada, hearing from the Acharyas. This is how one can actually become permanently happy. No worries. If you do it sincerely, if you pick it up and you say, Prabhu, I've read Bhagavad Gita, I don't feel happy. You haven't read Bhagavad Gita yet. So please, everyone, take the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, especially in his purports. So we will stop at this point. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Just you mentioned this Nalakuvar and Manigriva, and you say that they become something, and I didn't catch that name. The true name you repeated 2 minutes ago.
That, I can't quite hear the question.
The two names of Nalakuvar and Manigriva.
The two were delivered by Krishna, the two trees, okay?
Yes.
The Nalakuvar and Manigriva,
Nalakuvar and Manigriva were the two sons of Kuvera on the spiritual planet, on the heavenly planet. They were performing very bad activities. They were young guys, their father is rich, he has so much money. They spent the money inviting young women to swim and enjoy with them. They had access to so much liquor, alcohol, these beverages. And so they were enjoying in a beautiful swimming area. Narada Muni happens along. The young girls, at least, they immediately covered themselves. But Manigriva and Nalagubara was so out of it, they didn't know what was going on. So Narada decided to wake them up, and he cursed them. So after this curse, after they stood many years in the courtyard where Krishna later took his appearance, and Mother Yashoda ties him to the wooden grinding mortar. At that time, he pulls the grinding mortar through the two trees. He knocks them over. That's when they gained liberation. And then they were reborn. And their parents at that time instructed them, or had them instructed. They were known as two of the topmost panegyrists, those who recite transcendental poetry.
He wants to know their name.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
I'll just clarify. He wanted to know their names, their new names that was given to them.
Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. Those are the new names of the two reciters, Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. Nothing else? So I want you, Prabhus, to help me to become happy. Remind me of what needs to be done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki